Hello, welcome to our time together to talk about conscious discipline. I'm Heather, and today we are going to talk about lying. Such a trigger when our kids lie to us, right? So let's say we walk into a room and there's purple paint all over the wall, and we know who did it, right? But we say, "Who painted? Did you paint all over this wall?" And what do they say? No, I don't know. Wasn't me. So, who lies? We know our kids lie to us. That's why we're here. But something really important we got to grab hold of real quick is we all lie. Kids lie because we lie too. Everybody lies. Everybody lies, right? And why do we do that? Because we're scared or embarrassed, right? Feeling shame. Now, that's not the only reason that we do that, but they pretty much boil down to this, especially for our kids, right? Kids lie because they're scared of the outcome, right? They're embarrassed of what they just did. They don't know what's going to happen. And we lie for exactly the same reason. Sometimes as a grown up, we might lie because the other person um, can't handle it, right? Or we believe that the other person is not capable of handling it, that they're going to fly off their flip their lid, that they're going to tell everybody that we made a mistake because they gossip a lot. Like sometimes we lie because we don't feel like the other person can handle it, and I'm sure that you can understand that and identify with that. And that's really important because it's the same reason that kids lie, right? Sometimes they lie to us because they don't believe that we can handle it, that we're not going to flip our lid or tell everyone. And that's important. So why is it hard for us when they lie to us? Well, first, it's really scary when they lie. And maybe it's not scary because they lied about painting the wall or coloring on the table or how much homework they had. But it's really frightening to be a parent. We're scared for our children's like safety and well-being. And man, there's going to be times as they get older that they're not with us. They're out in a car with their friends, they're at a sleepover, they're handling things on their own, and we really need to trust that they're going to tell us what's going on and tell us the truth when we ask, because if they don't, it's terrifying. So when you lie about who painted the wall or how much homework you have, that fear, it all kind of gets bundled into one. And the other reason that it can be really triggering for us is that we might feel disrespected, right? And this probably comes from the adults around us and how they handled it when we messed up, and maybe when we didn't tell the truth. They probably felt disrespected. For most of us, the grown-ups in our life, when we were growing up, everything was disrespectful, right? Asking questions. Was considered talking back, rolling your eyes. I mean, our brains were developing, and we're learning emotional control and how to handle and manage our emotions, just like our kids are now. And that was difficult on the grown-ups. And what that really translates to is now we are the grown-ups feeling disrespected by the lie. It's difficult for us to reflect back on when we were little that we weren't lying to be disrespectful. We didn't know what to do to handle it yet, right? So this is the crazy part about so many of the lies that our kids get wrapped up into is we already know. I already know who painted the wall, right? I already know it was you who painted the wall, but I asked you. And because I asked you, now I'm mad about the wall, and I'm mad because you lied to me. So this is really about entrapment versus honesty. This is our own honesty, our own ability to tell the truth and be honest. So what we want to concentrate on is, what do you want to know? Like, because if I want to know who painted on the wall, I already do, right? I already know who painted on the wall. You've got paint on your face. You're the only child in this house, right? You painted on the wall. Already know. So if I think about what I want to know, I already know that. What might be the next thing I want to know? Why you did it, right? So I might be able to move on to the why you did. Here's a bonus tip: is that if your child is under 7 or even older, if they're neurodivergent, then we say, why did you do that? And they say, I don't know. Um, I don't know. Guess what? They aren't lying there either, right? Because now there's another lie. They're not lying. It's impulse control. And even children older than that, right? Sometimes we just do things impulsively and we don't have a good reason and we didn't think about it before we do it. And then someone wants to know, why did you do it? And I say, I don't know, and now I'm in trouble again. Or they're stacking up, right? So if you've got a young child, just maybe just sail past that part, and move on to the what's going to happen next. So what do you want to know? Let's listen to Amy Spidell, a conscious discipline lead instructor, talk about this a little more. She's talking about a school-age child. You'll see that it's applicable to all ages.
Sometimes kids lie because they don't know that we know something already. So we catch them in it and we're so proud of ourselves. I already know that this happened, or I already saw that on your phone and I saw that you did something that was horrible. And so I ask you, have you ever done this, or did you get it done, or did you hand it in? So whether it's I saw something on your phone that was inappropriate and I'm kind of hedging around to see if you'll admit to it, or whether I ask if the report got turned in and I already know it didn't. When we think that we've caught our teens in a lie, what we've actually done is set them up for the lie. And when we say that's not very truthful of them, what we really have to recognize is we're the one that started the untruth in the first place. We're the ones that set it up as something that it really wasn't. So instead of entrapment, let's just be really honest with them. If we saw something, wouldn't it be better if they learned that being able to face that conflict directly is the way to move through that conflict? And when we try to hedge around because we're a little embarrassed that we found out something that maybe we shouldn't have known. So for instance, let's say we saw something on their phone. I saw something on your phone. It might feel like a violation of your privacy. It concerns me. So the honesty around that is, I'm going to face this for your well-being rather than my fear. And I'm not going to hedge around as if it's an embarrassing thing for both of us. I'm going to face it directly so that it will be less embarrassing for you. So when we face it directly, it gives them an opportunity to be more honest about it. Now, of course, if you saw something that was really embarrassing, their first response will be, you should have been looking at I can't trust you with anything, I've never, all of that stuff. And what you're going to do is you're going to let that wash by, and then you're going to say, I hope that you're really hearing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I'm concerned for your well-being. I'm concerned for your safety in this. And it's important that you have an honest conversation with somebody about where this is going, because it seems like it's heading into some murky water. If it's because they didn't hand something in, then you say, I'm concerned about how these reports are getting handed in. You called her. Don't be in my stuff all the time. Don't be in my business all the time. It's my job to make sure that you are going to be a sturdy, responsible human being, and I'm going to do my job, even when it feels like a violation sometimes. I am going to pay attention to when that is a violation, and in this place, it seems as if you got a little over your head in this one. So when we approach it honestly, they have more of an opportunity to be honest. Don't entrap your son or your daughter. Don't do it.
So what do you want to know, right? And here's the bigger question in this moment is, do you want to help them do better? Or do you want to catch them doing bad things? When my child was in third grade a couple years ago, I was having a conversation with his teacher, and she said, he started lying. And I was like, oh, I mean, I have a third grader, so I know it's developmentally appropriate that he's lying. And it is, in his character, he is not a liar. But I was like, tell me more. Like, what's happening? And she said, well, we were in the hall and he and another student were talking. And so I went back and I said, were you talking? And he said right to my face, no, it wasn't me. And I said, oh, did you know it was him? Did you know for sure it was him talking? And she said, yes, she knew. And I said, okay. So something that works really well for us is that we don't set him up to lie. If you know he's done something, then you can just go right to it and address it. You're talking in the hall. This is what the rule is. Here's what my consequences. We don't set him up to tell a lie, right? Because then you're mad about him talking, and now you're saying that he's got a lying problem. So, that teacher in that year, she was a yeller. She yelled a lot. She sent kids out into the hallway when she didn't like their behavior. She'd move their desks. Like, it was a big deal. So yeah, of course they're gonna lie. Of course he lied to try to avoid one of these embarrassing punishments that was going to come from talking in the hall, right? So was the goal to want him to do better? Was the goal to catch him doing something bad? Because in that moment, for sure, the goal was not for him to be able to handle the hallway better. The goal was to catch him doing these bad things and then make sure his parents knew about it, right? So what is your goal? Take a moment, just a brief second to think about, and I know what your answer is going to be. Of course, your answer, whether you're a teacher or a family member, you want them to do better, right? That is what we want. That is what the goal is. So what we do now is say, did you? And they say, no, I didn't do it, right? But we already know they did it. So now it's, are you lying to me? No, nope, not me, not lying. Tell me the truth, right? If you tell me the truth, it's just going to be worse if you lie. I am telling you the truth. The outcome of that is we're upset, they're upset. It has just gone everywhere when I might have known what the truth was already, right? We've made just such a bigger situation. So instead, the first thing we're going to do is put our air mask on, right? Just like an airplane, you're supposed to put your oxygen mask on first before you help anybody else. This is always our first step, is to take a breath, especially if we feel that we are, triggered, if we're upset and triggered but whatever it is that has happened in front of us, we're going to take a breath before we do anything else. And then we're going to focus on the solution to the problem instead of the lie, right? If my child has painted on the wall, I already know who did it. I already know it was impulsive. They don't know why, right? So I'm just going to move on, and I'm going to say, you can paint on the paper or you can paint in this coloring book. Set your paintbrush down here. Let's go get some paper towels and some spray because we're going to clean this up, right? Because my goal is that the paint is not on the wall anymore and that they don't do it again. So if I trap them into a lie, now I got two problems. If I ask them why they did and they don't know, now I'm irritated, right? And feel like they're still lying to me. I've got all of these problems to clean up while the paint's still on the wall. And next time, it might go exactly the same way. What I want is the paint to be cleaned up. That's a very logical consequences. When you paint on the wall, you clean it up. Here's how you're going to do it next time. You're going to paint on this paper. You're going to paint in this book. Those are your two options, right? If my older kid is missing something, maybe, the teacher says they're missing an assignment. So I say, did you do your homework? Knowing it's not done, and they lie to me, I got two problems now and I'm mad, right? Instead, I'm just going to say, you have a missing assignment. Your homework's not done. Go have a seat at the table and get started. I'm going to go get you something to drink, and I'll be right there to check in, right? I'm going to sit with you until this is done. I'm here to help you. I've got your back. And then the homework's done, because that's the goal, right? The goal is that the homework's done, that the missing assignment is caught up. That's my goal. So what we really need to do is be honest, right? This is big step. We want them to be honest. We got to be honest. We want them to be honest. We have to be honest. That starts here. When we sometimes we need to ask them a question, because we might know a part of the truth, or maybe we really don't know. Maybe the teacher has told me that there are missing assignments, but the software's down and I can't see what assignments are missing. So I ask my child, right? Do you have missing assignments? What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to say, you have missing assignments. the software's down. So I need you to tell me what those assignments are so that we can make a plan. And maybe they're going to say, I don't know. I don't have any, or I only have one. There's only one. I'm only missing one thing. I might think right there that they're lying to me because the teacher said several assignments or assignments, right? So I might say, that doesn't sound like the truth to me. Your teacher told me this, so let's sit down and go through all of your notebooks to figure it out, right? I'm just going to push right past the lie. They don't need to lie, and I'm not buying it. That doesn't sound like the truth to me. Let's move on, right? I'm going to tell them that it's my job. Maybe not every time, but when appropriate, I might say in this case, it's my job to make sure that your homework is done, and I'm going to do my job. And in this case, what that means is we're going to sit down and look through everything so we can figure this out. It's my job to keep you safe, and I'm going to do that job. And in this case, that means I'm going to look through your phone sometimes to make sure that you are safe and that you are being safe with other people. You can trust me. You just need to tell me the truth. So this is like this much about the actual words and like this much about your actions, right? Because just saying you can trust me, you just need to tell me the truth means nothing if when you trust me enough to tell me the truth, I completely lose it, right? If I can't maintain my composure, if I just explode and make things so big, or I embarrass you, or I tell other people all of those things we don't want to happen as a grown up, we need to make sure that we're showing them that you can trust me to handle this. You can tell me the truth and you can trust me to handle it, right? And we're going to plan ahead. We're going to plan ahead. And here's what we're going to do today, because there might not be a lie told to you today, but the work starts today. And it starts like this. And oops is our opportunity to practice new skills, right? And this skill happens to be telling the truth. When we make a mistake and we don't tell our kid that we've made a mistake, and we hide all of that stuff. We don't want other people to know that we mess up, right? So when we do that, it can leave your child feeling like not enough, right? I'm not good enough because she doesn't mess up and she doesn't mess up and she never gets in trouble and his card never gets moved and this like everybody can handle it but me. I'm not good enough, and I'm not going to tell anybody when I mess up because I want to be good too. Right? Do you understand that? So we need to let our kids, the kids in our class, the kids in our home, the kids around us, the adults around us, we need to let each other know that, hey, I've made a mistake and this was hard and I handled it, right? We prove to ourselves that we can tell the truth and handle it. And we also show our kids that people make mistakes and it's okay. There is no mistake that you can't come to me and tell me about that we can't handle together, right? We need to show them that we make mistakes too. Unconditional love is going to sound really obvious here because, of course, we love our children unconditionally. Do we show them that when they have made a mistake? Do we show them? And sometimes it's literally saying, my love for you does not change when you make a mistake. Right? When you mess up, when something goes wrong, how I feel about you, how much I love you doesn't ever change even a little bit. Like, we can get through this together. That's never going to change. I don't like this behavior and we're going to talk about it, but my love for you doesn't change, right? When you know that no matter what you do, the love is still there from your family, from the person that you need to trust to care for you, then it's a lot easier to tell them the truth. Focusing on our relationship is a win in absolutely every situation. And that certainly includes lying, right? When we focus on building a strong relationship with trust and unconditional love, we make ourselves a safe place to tell the truth, right? And even if they struggle to tell the truth to other people, right? Because you being safe doesn't mean the teacher's not screaming and sending you out into the hallway, but you can create a safe place for them to tell you the truth about what's happening so that you can help them figure out what to do with that person, right? If you have never seen our video on the brain states or any video, please Google it after this, Conscious Discipline Brain States. It's fascinating. I wanted you to see it here before we go because only in our frontal lobe, which is not fully developed until they're 24 years old, can we have the ability to reflect, to learn, and impulse control, right? Because so many of those lies, so many of the things that we do are impulsive. So know that we need to provide a felt sense of safety. We need to make sure that they know that they are loved and connected in our home, in our classroom, so that they can be in the frontal lobe to practice impulse control, reflect on how their actions, reflect on what's going to happen if I tell the truth or what's going to happen if I lie, right? That's exactly where they need to be. So we're going to wrap it up with this short video. She does such a beautiful job condensing the things that we just talked about.
These kids be lying. How can we reduce that? Number one, you probably already have this tool in your bathroom that is so helpful with reducing lying. It's called a mirror. Look at yourself and say, do I lash out at every mistake? Do I even listen to my kid's opinion? Am I even creating a safe space for my child to tell the truth? I know I didn't have that safe space as a child. If I forgot to flush the toilet at 6, my ass was grass. So I would lie till I die. Okay? So create the safe space for honesty. Number 2, don't play games with your kids. Don't ask if they did something you already know the answer to. If you know your kids be lying, don't set them up to lie. That is petty Crocker and it defeats the purpose. So instead of saying, did you do your homework? Say, I noticed you didn't do your homework. Number 3, don't ask why they lied. I struggle with this one, but it only gives them an opportunity to justify lying. And we know ain't no reason to be lying. So instead, talk about why they shouldn't have lied and reinforce safety. You know, you didn't have to lie about playing in my makeup. Remember, you're allowed to ask to use my things. Now, sometimes I may say no, but I know you respect me and I also know you can handle hearing no sometimes. Next time, just ask so you don't feel like you have to make that decision on your own. That's what I'm here for.
On the website where you found this video, there is a button that says request a topic. So if there's something happening currently with your kid, in your home, in your classroom, even if you want a topic to be covered, hit that button, send me an email, send me a message to let me know. If I don't have information to share with you, I will find somebody that does. Until next time, I am wishing you well.